So, all of a sudden, and Eve, finally she laid, she never ate an apple. What it was all about, it was a pair on the ground. Satan and Eve. And then, after Eve had committed the sin, read the story. I don't have to go into this all the time in total word depth. It says Eve convinced Adam to partake. Not to partake with her, but to partake with the demon mistress of Satan, Lilith. If Adam would have partook with Eve, Yahweh wouldn't have cursed Adam, because it would have been a natural thing for him and her to cohabit of the same blood and race.
Right.
Adam got cursed because he listened to her, number one. And number two, because he didn't cohabit with Eve at that time, he cohabited with the demon mistress of Satan, and her name is Lilith. And you're going to like this. Lilith, the demon mistress, in stone in ancient Mesopotamia, called today Iraq. Ancient Babylon. And here is Lilith with her little wings, okay? And you'll notice she has owl feet. And you'll notice what surrounds Lilith. This is very important. Owls. Owls, okay? Owl is an extremely dark side symbol. You should not have an owl in your house. You shouldn't have the picture of an owl in your house. It is evil. It carries evil connotations of a negative frequency, because owls represent Lilith. Now let's continue. Time for an education here. Lilith. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. Did you bring your book with you? Got your book? Chapter 34 of Isaiah? I'll go there if you haven't got your book. Sometime I put my studies on too good. People don't have to bring their book, and because they know I'm going to present a lot of stuff on the screen. So I'm going to go to chapter 34 of Isaiah, okay, as of now. And I want you to follow with me very closely here. They say, well, Lilith isn't mentioned in the Bible. Well, there's a lot of things that isn't mentioned in the Bible, because the Catholic scribes and the Jewish rabbis removed a lot of it and distorted it. It says in Isaiah chapter 34, verses 14 and 15. I'm going to read them to you, word for word. Now, this is the King James Unrevised, Center Concordance, Red Letter Edition, large print, okay? I'm going to read this to you now. Verse 14, Isaiah 34. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow, and the screeching owl also shall rest there, and find for what?
Herself.
A place of rest. Herself is Lilith. There shall the great owl make her nest, and lay and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Now, this is very important. Listen very carefully to me here, because I'm going to reveal a mystery to you that hasn't been revealed in a long time. Desert creatures will meet with hyenas, this is another version, and wild goats will bleat to each other. There the night creatures will also repose and find for themselves places of rest. Another version of translation of the same text from a different Bible reads, and there shall the beast of the desert meet with the jackals, and the wild goat shall cry to his fellow. The Lilith also shall settle there and find for herself a place of rest. It's all there. Yes, and did you know not long ago that every month there was a very popular magazine that came out in New York? And you know who lives in New York? A lot of them. Who lives in New York?
Jews.
The Jews love to live in New York because it's the city of diversity, right? And tolerism, all right? And tolerance, all right? It's very important. And they used to have a monthly magazine called Lilith. They know these things. It's just that this isn't taught in Judeo-Christianity or in the Catholic Church, because the people aren't supposed to realize that it's all about race. Race. Let's continue. Now, who is Lilith? Well, the ancient texts, racial folklore and legend tells that she may have been the one who Eve told Adam to enjoy a great pleasure with, just as Eve enjoyed her seduction by Satan. That she had been the mistress of Satan, one of Satan's main demons. Doesn't it say that we fight a battle also with spirit and principality, not just flesh? Does that say here? Yes, it does. In the days of very ancient of time and text, it is mentioned that in the netherworld, that the Lilith story is one of Lilith being the demon who is responsible for killing babies. In ancient Hebrew folklore, I didn't say Jew, I said Hebrew. Jews aren't Hebrews. Hebrews aren't Jews.
Right.
Jews are Turco-Mongolian. They're liars. People would have hung amulets on each of the walls in an infant's room or around the crib with the inscription, Lilithabai, on them. Lilithabai, which could be translated as Lilith be gone, or Lilith go away. And is a great example of how the word lullaby came into being. They turned it from Lilithby to lullaby. And they had omelets. Some of them with that inscription, some with angels' pictures on them, okay, of the positive side, all right? Let's continue. If one thinks about a lullaby, it is something that a parent sings to their child to soothe or calms that child down. Traditionally, lullabies, like a lot of children's stories and songs, are pretty scary if people actually thought about the words and the meaning of these verses. Their child, to soothe or calms that child down. Traditionally, lullabies, like a lot of children's stories and songs, are pretty scary if people actually thought about the words and the meaning of the verses. One of the most famous lullabies would have to be Rockabye Baby, in which a small child falls from a tree. Rockabye baby in the treetop, when the wind blows,
the cradle will run.
And all will fall, baby, cradle and all. All right, and kill the baby. Most people have held hands while moving around in a circle, singing and acting out the happenings of the bubonic plague, to the tune of the words, "Ring around the rosy, ring around the rosy, bunch of posies, all fell down dead." It's about the bubonic plague, killing all the millions of people. And the Lilith by is no different. Let's continue here. The point being is that parents come up with creative ways to help their children deal with traumatic situations. Through a fun song, a peacefully bedtime story, or a well-crafted animated movie. The thing is, if the light-hearted interpretations that our children are exposed to are based on darkness from our past, then why couldn't a folklore like the baby-killing demon Lilith also be true? Or at least to some ancient and present extent. However, Lilith, the baby-killing demon, could be no more than a needed belief or story to explain to the people of years past as to why their infants died for no apparent reason or cause. They call it crib death. They'll put the child to bed at night, the child perfect. They'll go to get the baby up in the morning, the baby is dead. Because Lilith is the demon of death of the children in the crib. That's why they put them amulets up on the walls, to tell Lilith, get out, or to put pictures of Christ, the real Christ the Father, with the blonde hair and the blue eyes, all right? Or angelic beings around the child. Today, we as a whole know about the SIDS, the Sudden Infant Death Syndrome, or FAS, Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, and other medical reasons that cause children to die at very young ages. This is largely based on increased knowledge and advanced medical technology. But my question to you is this. Think about it. Have our advancements over one generation to the next, and to the next, and to the next onward, made us less aware? Have we been dumbed down to what really is happening? Of course we have. We've been indoctrinated. Less aware of Yahweh the Christ, God? Let's get him out of our school, right? Less aware of the lessons and the history that our forefathers left for us to learn from? We have all heard of sudden infant death syndrome. But can anyone explain why and how it happens and why crib deaths happens? Well, now going back to Lilith. Was she Adam's first female seduction? I'm posing a question to you here. Present, and those of you wherever you are, whether you're in Holland or, I just got a wonderful letter from Holland, young man 20 years old, watching the YouTubes that I'm on and listening to my radio broadcast, woke up to who he is. And he's telling all his friends in Holland that he's an Israelite. Isn't that by race? Not a Jew. Okay.
Crazy.
Pure white European. Have another individual, British, in Hong Kong, taking my courses. He woke up to who's who and
who's Jew.
Yeah, too. The Bible never says that, or the parchments. In fact, the only place Lilith is mentioned is in Isaiah 34, 14 and 15. You make your notes accordingly. And even that is not in every translation. But if you have studied the ancient texts and you know and understand what to look for in those writings in Isaiah chapter 34, you will understand the deeper meanings there for you. And according to this belief, Yahweh God created Adam, formed Adam, and he also created Lilith the demon, as he is the creator of everything and anything. Since Lilith was given to Adam by Eve, not Satan, thus encouraged by Eve to try this desire, it was the sin of which Adam was condemned for by Yahweh God, Yahivahi in Aramaic. It was what he physically did with Lilith, the same as what Satan did with Eve earlier, who then brought forth Cain, who was of the wicked one, as our father stated. Adam must have thought that he was to be the dominant. Lilith must have thought, Adam must have thought that he was to be the dominant partner, but Lilith did not agree. Lilith felt as though she should be in charge, just as the Jewess believes the Jewish women are in charge in all ways. A feministic society, feministic. And that is why the Jewesses have led the parade for women's equal rights of being equal or better than men, quite opposite than what Yahweh the Christ God commanded Eve to be under Adam's total control. As this saga continued between Satan and Eve and Adam with Lilith, there was trouble in the garden. And Lilith and Satan both left the Garden of Eden after Yahweh intervened on behalf of his son Adam, of Luke 3:38. For Adam was the son of Yahweh God, as recorded in Luke 3:38. The Christ was Yahweh God, who was born in the flesh. The Christ Emmanuel, God with us, was not the Son of God. He was Yahweh, the heavenly and spiritual Father himself, who came through a virgin, and in his third dimension, by the name of Mary. Thus, Hail Mary, Mother of God.
That's right.
Not Mother of the Son of God. Get it right. You know, it's interesting. I hold forth an olive branch. And I said, call me, you ministers and that. Write me an email, www.jameswickstrom.com, jamespwickstrom@yahoo.com. We'll sit down and we'll have a wonderful cup of coffee and a good dissertation. You can tell me what you think you know, and I'll tell you what I think I know. And we can Come and reason together. Isn't that what the Father said? Come and let us reason together? Wasn't that the commandment? You know, I come to speak the truth to you, and I become your enemy? I'm the enemy because I tell the truth? You hate me because I speak the truth? Well, Yahweh did not approve of Satan and Lilith's actions and ungodly relationship with Adam his son, nor with Eve, nor as to what Eve had talked Adam into doing, nor to Adam listening to Eve and him being with Lilith. At this point, Satan and Lilith are both condemned for their physical actions of sexual intercourse with Adam and Eve. Satan is cursed as well as his children from then forth, even to this day, as you know in St. John 8, chapter 8, verse 31, 44, and 47. By Yahweh is the lowest of anything on the earth. And this curse was also carried over unto Lilith, who being a demon forever, who would take the lives of infants and young children. Lilith made a deal with the three angels of Yahweh to let her go free and return, as it is written in the ancient text. She would kill 100 of her demon babies every day and vowed to not harm small children under the protection, please, of the amulets that had the name of Yahweh the Christ or the image of one of his angels on it. That's why they put it on the walls by the cribs of the children, all right? To tell her to Lilith by. Get out of here! Here we have, in Mesopotamia, northern Iraq, we have another picture of Lilith, all right? The demon mistress. Here we have another sculpture in stone in Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon. Here we have her with her owl's feet again, and the owls here around her, all right, of Lilith, the demon mistress of Satan. Get those owls out of your house. They carry a dark frequency with them. Now, what does this all mean? Where am I going with this? How am I going to bring it up to today? Stay tuned in. Now you know why, as in times past, in all the hospitals and all the white nations of the earth, including the United States, there were pictures of Yahweh God, the Christ, praying, as well as pictures of angels praying on all the walls in the hallways and on the walls of the hospital rooms, especially where the newborn babies were located. For many, many hundreds of years this was fact, only to be taken down now and replaced with meaningless pictures. Those pictures were placed there by our white European ancestors to ward off Lilith, the demon mistress of Satan, from the hospitals and all rooms of those hospitals. And that takes us now to this image. Bohemian Grove, the owl